guy MrBackhand here again. Guys, I'm getting all your emails and they come flooding in, and the biggest email I've got, number one, is on how to play big backhands, and the number two is string tension. And so many of you are emailing in and are a little bit confused. You're obviously talking to your club members and asking about string tension. I'm stringing high and people say don't do that, string low, and you're doing it, and some of you are succeeding and some of you just are not. Most of you aren't. So you need to understand what string tension is. Some people say less string tension gives you more power. Tighter string tension gives you less power. I'm gonna settle it all for you today. So we're gonna do it on the whiteboard so you understand. So what I'm gonna do is, first of all, camera girl, come hither. Say hi, world.
Hello.
Okay. So who's been emailing me? So what's this? Who's this guy?
Alan
Chiang. You say that Chiang, I think.
Chiang.
Where's he from?
Taiwan.
Taiwan. And?
Pete Burley.
That's Berkeley.
Berkeley.
And where's he from?
Denver.
G'day, Pete. Vince for you. Who's that?
Adam Morley.
Adam Morley's emailing. And where's he from?
Christchurch.
From Christchurch. That's in New Zealand. My own hometown. Who's that?
Katie.
Yep. Katie.
Erkstead.
Yep. Katie Erkstead. She's from?
Wales.
Wales. And Mr.
Song.
Mr. Song. And where's he from?
Korea.
Alright. Korea. Put that over there. So these are some of the guys who have been emailing me. Come back here, kiddo.
Oh.
And to help you with string tension, we're going to use a 10-year-old kid. How old are you? 10. So if a 10-year-old kid can understand this, you should be able to understand it. So in the process of explaining how to hit a shuttlecock, string tension, we're going to do the physics. So I'm not going to tell you what brand to buy or what string to buy, but I'm going to give you a general understanding of string tension. That way you can go and decide for yourselves. And it's pretty simple. Alright, so what's that?
It's a shuttlecock.
It's a shuttlecock. And millions of people can hit this thing and millions of people can't. Alright, so this video is for the people that can't.
I'm one of those people.
You're one of those people. Okay, don't worry. You're in the same boat as millions of others because that's why the emails. Okay, hold that. So, string tension. Grab me a badminton racket. Grab me two. Grab me the orange one and grab me the yellow one on the bottom. Or grab me the white one. Yep, white one. And the orange one. And grab me the yellow one on the bottom.
And then this one?
Yeah. That's the one. So hold that one. Okay, so this one here just came in and it's probably strung to about 18 pounds. Hold that. Thank you. And it feels relatively loose, right? So hold that. That one's tighter. All right, and I know what that's strung to. All right, and this one's tightest. And so which one to you feels loosest out of the white one and the yellow one? Just go the white one and the yellow one. Which one's tighter? Push your fingers into it, but not your fingernails. Now push your fingers into that one. That one's what?
It feels tighter.
Okay. So why do I, when I play, right? Why do I play with tighter strings?
Because you can get more
Force.
force.
Okay. Okay. So put them down for a minute. Yep, put them down. Don't worry, guys. Bear with us. So here we go. We're going to do it on a whiteboard for you, so that way you can get a bit of an understanding. String tension. Jump on this side, kiddo. String tension. And in this particular video, it's badminton tension. Tennis is a little bit different because you're trying to grab a tennis ball, you're trying to collect the tennis ball on the string, but badminton's different. When a shuttlecock comes into a badminton racket, I can tell you now that what it does is it holds that. Thank you, helper. What it does is that it collapses. If you hit it on the cork, it bounces out. If you hit it on the side, it does this. It comes in slow motion. If you've never seen it, a shuttlecock will fold. It'll fold all the way out. Right? It'll collapse all the way in. And because it collapses all the way in, it then folds all the way out. And that's what that shuttlecock does. But we're not trying to collect the shuttlecock, we're trying to repel it. So, give me that, hold that. So, string tension. So what do I use? And the thing you need to understand is why. So, my string tensions go between 30 and 38, taking into account a thing called creepage. Some people call it creepage, some people call it slack, right? Because as you string a racket, it's going to, on a Monday, it's going to start creeping as you've strung it. So, if let's say you strung it to 38 on a Monday, on 7 o'clock, or let's say 6:59, you go out on a court and you play with it at 7 o'clock. It's gonna have that incredible bite to it. And some of you who have done this have felt that bite. After a while, after you've played with it, after a while, that bite starts to disappear. So, what's happening? Okay, what's happening? You say, oh, you tell somebody, oh, I was at the shop and I had it strung to 38. That's great. But now it's probably down to about maybe 34 and it no longer has that bite. Okay, so what's going on? I'll tell you what's going on. It's really, really simple. Check the camera girl. Am I still on?
Yep. Okay,
here it is. For a start, for the guys who've been emailing me in, you have to use the right words. If you use the wrong words, then it means the wrong thing. So, over here, I've got the words over here. Early, and quick, and repulsion, and energy loss, and control, and indent, and sweet spot. Okay, so some of you would have heard most of those words. Maybe energy loss you may not have heard of, and indent you may not have heard of, but here it is. All right, kiddo.
Yes.
Let's help the badminton players out there. All you badminton freaks. Here it is. So, what we're going to do is we're going to show you why some people use a lower tension and some people use a higher tension. Check this out. Put that down before you kill me with it. All right, here we go. So, a lot of you will try and think of badminton strings and try and explain it to other people like a trampoline. Okay, let's use that since that's in some of your head. So, let me draw a trampoline. If you've got the outside, you've got the springs, and you've got the trampoline here, which you're bouncing on. There you go, there's you bouncing. And you've got another trampoline, and there's you bouncing. Let's see if a 10-year-old kid can get it. Because if a 10-year-old kid can get it, then you can understand it. Alright, so here it is. Sienna, give this a go. Let's say the tension of this trampoline, right? Both are twins. Okay, so they're both the same boy, effectively. Same weight, same everything, and they're jumping up and down at the same rate. But here's the deal. This one is strung to 20 pounds. This one is strung to 20 pounds. Exactly the same. If I get rid of those boys for a minute and we just talk about get rid of the boys. Now, both strings are same string, 20 pounds, 20 pounds. Got it? Okay. Now, what happens if I could play God for a minute, and I could pinch the trampoline, and I could pull it down, okay? And I could pull it down to 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, okay? And I could pull it down, so now it looks, instead of looking like this, it now looks like this, right? And I put a marble in there. And I pull this one down to the same, exactly the same line. And I was able to pinch it down. So now they're both under tension. When I let it go, which marble is going to go higher? They're going to go wow into the sky. Which marble is going to go higher? Or are they going to be the same? Is that a question or a statement?
Statement.
Yeah, you're right. So everything being equal, 20 pound string, 20 pound string, everything's the same. I pull them down to exactly the same line. Exactly the same line. When they go, the marble is going to travel up, and they're going to travel at the same distance. But this is where badminton players get a little bit confused. So here we go. What would happen now if we take this off? That's terrible, isn't it? Only way to kind of do it, all that. So what would happen now if the same thing happened? So we pulled this down, right? But we made this 40 pounds. So now, instead of the shirt or the bounce on the strings being 20 pounds, this is now tighter. So we make it tighter. Now the bounce, right? So now there's more tension. So now this is double this. But we indent it the same. 40 pounds. This is 40 pounds. This is 20 pounds. So this is a lot tighter. So to pull it down, I've got to use a hell of a lot more energy to pull it down, but I do. And I let it go. Which marble now is going to go higher? This one or this one? Tell the camera.
I think.
What do you think?
That it would be.
Quickly.
40 pounds.
Question or a statement?
Statement.
Yeah. Why?
I just feel as if it was tighter, then it would have more bounce.
Yeah, that's exactly it. She's right. She's exactly right. This one's going to go twice as far because it's under more tension. Now, the thing about, so to answer your question directly as to, because Mr. Song, you've asked me which will give you more distance or power. Badminton doesn't quite work like that, and I'm going to explain to you why, but if it was a flat-out drag race and you said which one gives you more power, all things being equal, the tighter string. If the indent is the same, if the indent's the same, so here it is. There you go, kiddo. Right? So here it is. For all those that want to see it from a trampoline point of view. Okay. But here's the next equation for you. What happens this time if we do the same thing, same trampoline, and this one, what was this one? 20 pounds, wasn't it? Yeah. Okay. And this one here's 40 pounds. Okay. But this time we pull this one down to the same, to, let's say it's down to 8. So now it's down to this line. But this one's tighter. But this one here, we only pull down a little bit. Doesn't matter. Alright, we put a marble in there, but I was able to pitch that down like God. Okay? Now, the string tension, same strings, but this string tension is 40 pounds. So it's double the tension of this one. However, take that off of there. We've pulled this one down a lot. But this one's 40 pounds. And this one here we've pulled down a little bit. So we've pulled it down to 2. And this one's down to 7. So it's now what's called indent. You've indented the strings. Right. Which one is going to get away earlier? Which one's going to get away earlier? Number 2. Why is it going to get away earlier?
Because it's got a shorter way to go up.
That's right. So in badminton, the reason why the world champions all string higher is because they don't want to rely on loose strings. They don't want to have to deal with it. So what they deal with is they deal with what's called ratioed hitting, but they want control. Badminton is about control, but your question quite simply was about power. So I'm trying to get an understanding of your question. Flat out drag race. From the diagram before, tighter wins, but all things being equal. When we take the same equation and all things now are not equal, check the camera, make sure I'm still on film. Sometimes these still good?
Yeah.
Alright. YouTube is still with us. So what happens is that what Senna's said is if this one's 40 pounds and this one's 20 pounds, and you pull it down a little, pull it down a lot, let him go, this one's going to go bing, and it's going to get away early. But it's not going to go as far. Or Senna, you tell me, is this one, which one's going to go further, physically further?
That one.
Why?
Because,
Quickly, the world's watching.
yeah, that one.
Why?
Because it's got more of
Yeah.
it's
Yeah, it's got more whatever. It's got more bounce. So this one here, right? This one here, even though it's getting away earlier, this one's going to go bing. It's only going to go up to about here. This one's going to go wow. It's going to hit the moon. So this one here will give you more distance than this one. But before you said, but hang on, Mr. Backhand. Whoa there, Jazz. Hold your horse. Saddle up. You said that this one gave you more power. No, I said it would give you more power, all things being equal. Now, you're now changing that dynamic. And because you're changing that dynamic, this one wins. So now, lower wins. But this one here, get the repulsion, if I could, for those who don't understand, what does repulsion mean to you?
to me.
Yep. What does repulsion mean?
Repulsion.
If someone's got, if someone's repelled from something, you get two magnets, you put them together, what happens? Positive to positive. Come on, you're in school. What happens?
They go.
If they're positive, negative, they will.
Oh, I mean.
If they're positive, positive, what happens?
It will feel.
It
like
repels.
it's a thing.
It repels. It wants to push it away. It wants to repel. So the shuttlecock is repelling. But the thing is that what you're trying to get is you're trying to get what's called early repulsion. Now, distance from the string in badminton players, professional badminton players, mind you, don't talk about how much indent they can create using a lower tension string. What they want in badminton is control. Whoa, don't do that. Yeah, I know. Is control. Whoever controls the shuttlecock controls the game. I've seen guys who can hit it all the way up the back, but I can tell you now that they will use the right racket, generally the right racket. They'll tighten up their strings, and then they will try and get as much indent into the strings as possible using a higher poundage. That's what will happen. So what happens is, yeah, you've got on your strings, you do have a sweet spot, sure. But what's more important to a player is a thing called ratioed hitting. If you hit with a looser string and it's got, how do I say this? With a looser string, but you swing, which is what most of you are doing at a ratio of 5-to-1, you're not going to hit it as hard as someone who's got tighter strings who's hit it at a ratio of 6-to-1. You haven't got a chance. They're going to kill you every time. They're going to push it around the court, and they're going to sort of, you'll see these international players or A-graders at your club all doing this. B, C's and D's, you're in trouble. So what people say is they say, well, if you're just starting out, go with this kind of product. I would say no. If you're just starting out, the best thing to do is get the right information the right way around. You need to, if you want to increase your racket head speed, you need to understand what ratios are. TRA ratios, everyone's doing it. That's the way we do it. So we go 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 to 1. But what you guys are doing is when you start playing, you're playing with what's called 5-to-1 ratios. So you're kind of getting stuck. And this is why your badminton may be struggling over years. So Mr. Song, I saw your video. That's exactly what's happening to you because you've got bad advice. Well, what I think is bad advice. So, as far as string tension is concerned, which is better? Better is a matter of opinion. But better for me, better for pros, tighter. Now, let's not say 40 pounds. That's getting a bit nutcasey. But anywhere between 30 and 38. Somewhere in there. Because what's happening is they will play using control of the racket, rather than trying to rely on the bounce of the string. They just don't need to do that. So, but from a straight out drag race, if you're asking me which string will give you more bounce to a certain degree, all things being equal, the tighter one will give it more repulsion. Will send it further every time. If you use tighter string with less indent, and you use a lower string with more indent, this one's going to give you more distance but slower repulsion. So what's going to happen is, geez, I've got so many things here. Can I have that? So let me just clean this up. And this is where most of you are going a little bit array. Here you go. 21 minutes on the vid, that's alright. So what's happening is, all things being equal, same indent, 40 pounds, 20 pounds, this one's going to win because it's under more surface tension. So let's now, badminton strings will never do that. So let's get a little bit more realistic. There you go. So badminton strings hardly move at all, right? They don't impound a hell of a lot. Well, they might do this. You know, the string might come in and it might do that. But 40 pounds, it ain't going to move a lot. So now you've got early repulsion. Early repulsion. Early repulsion. You're not having to rely on having to try and indent that string so much. So how do you try and get power out of a tight string? How do you indent it as far as this one? You use ratios. If you are using a 5-to-1 ratio, you're not going to achieve this. You will achieve this. If you just try and swing a badminton racket like you think it's being swung, you're in this bucket. Your smashes, you're going to have to try and indent that a hell of a lot. Where professional players who know about 6-to-1 all the way up to 10-to-1 using a tighter string, they're going to kill you. They're going to absolutely murder you. Their backhand's going to be crisper, their smashes are going to be more bitey, everything's going to work for them. And you're going to run around wondering what the hell's going on. Borrow that cloth again. Thanks, kiddo. If you don't know what ratios are, right, I've got a video out there, MrBackhand.com. Go and get the video. I think it's the only one in the world, MrBackhand.com. Go and download it. It's worth it. It cost me about 20 grand now to find out. But for you guys, go and download it for 150 bucks and you've got it. So this backhand channel is strictly about people that want to hit backhands and want to hit smashes super, super hard. So if you think, because I get a lot of this, pronating, supinating, whichever way you want to spell it, rotating. A lot of you guys are emailing me in about pronating, supinating, rotating. You can pronate and supinate and rotate all you like, but if you do any of this and still only hit at 5-to-1, disastrous. Absolutely disastrous. A lot of the time, I will hit, and the pros will hit at 6-to-1 to 10-to-1 and not do any of this. This is beginner stuff. This is advanced. But here's the thing. If you now know what this is and you apply this, well, now that's just super serious stuff. And that's what's happening. So your problem isn't understanding what pronating, supinating, and rotating your body into a shot is. It's what these numbers represent. And that's where most of you have been going wrong. So you'll see on some of my videos, which I do, I tend to hit backhands and clears and smashes really, really easily. And I don't pronate or supinate in a lot of my shots. So it can't be. It just, from a physics standpoint, it can't be. So, am I still on camera?
Yep.
For these guys? Alright. So, what you've got is is when the string and the marble is sitting there, or let's say a boy's bouncing on it. The thing is that the shuttle comes into the string, but the string itself doesn't give you power. I'll prove it. Hey Sienna, grab me a badminton racket, because these guys want to see it. Grab me 2 shuttlecocks as well.
Okay.
Grab me that one. Grab me the white one, which is badly strung, and give me the yellow one, which is tightly strung. All right, we're gonna do an experiment for you at home. There you go. 2 shuttlecocks, duck feathers. Both of them are a little bit flustered. Here's what I want you to do. I want you to hold that one like that. I want you to hold that one like that at the same thing. Okay. Now this one here is only strung to about 18. At the shop when I had that strung, I strung it to 36. So this one here, the yellow one's a lot tighter. Okay. Don't move. Don't bounce them. Don't do anything. Just hold them. I'm now, if I drop these right at this height, even if I drop them from 1,000,000 miles up and they hit the strings, which one do you think is going to bounce back into the air more? Are you sure about that? Let's try it. Ready?
That one.
Exactly the same. They went dong, but that one there was strung. That one there was strung really, really tight, and this one was strung relatively loose. But the shuttlecocks didn't bounce off the string. So string itself doesn't create power. It just creates repulsion. And this is where a lot of you think, where's the pen? This is where a lot of you think that string tension equals power. It doesn't. It doesn't. String tension doesn't equal power. String tension equals repulsion. If string tension equaled power, with that experiment right there, it's simple. One would have hit the roof and one wouldn't have. Now you're probably saying, oh yeah, but when the shuttles hit the strings, her hands went down a little bit. No. I can tell you now. What you're looking for is a perfect string for a badminton player, whether you're advanced or a beginner. It doesn't matter, because the shuttlecock doesn't care if you're advanced or beginner. Now I understand you want to get into the game, that's great. But what you're looking for is control. If you don't have control on a badminton court and you've played it, you're in trouble. You're going to be out of control. So you're looking for repulsion. And you're looking for clean repulsion. Can they see that on the camera?
Mm-hmm.
You see those words?
Yes.
Yeah. So you're looking for repulsion. You're looking for clean repulsion. You're looking for early repulsion. And you're looking for no energy loss. Because if what happens is if you play the shot and the shuttle comes in and into the strings and they start to go in and they start to indent, instead of the racket head, which you've created, going forward, that shuttle wants to come in and wants to indent. And you think, oh, well, the more I indent it, the further it's going to go. Not necessarily. If you string a racket really, really low to 16 and you try and play with it, you won't get any power. You'll wonder why. So you'll get a certain sense of energy loss. And you don't want energy loss. You want it clean and you want it early. Now, another word that a lot of badminton players tend to hey Sienna, can I borrow you?
Yes.
Yeah. Just have to bend down all the time.
There we go.
grab that, is you're getting confused between power, fast, and quick. What you're looking for is, if I use the word, write it up here. Let's see if Sienna can figure it out. Have we had a conversation about this prior? No? Okay, fast and quick. There we go, world, fast and quick. What's the difference between fast and quick? Tell them.
There's no difference.
There's no difference? There's a hell of a difference.
Okay.
Give it a go though. Most people don't know. You would if you Googled it. Alright, here it is. She doesn't know. Fast is speed, right, over time. So let's say you got the latest Lamborghini and it's going fast down the road. It's because it's traveling over a long period of time. It's going to take at least 10 or 20 seconds to get down the motorway. Quick is fast in a short period of time. So it's really quick. Badminton players want quick, not fast. So don't get those two words confused. Katie, you were getting that confused. You were saying, oh, I'm not fast enough. No, you're not quick enough. So you want it's speed over time. So shorten up the time. That's what you have to be. You've got to be as quick as a hiccup. So, where's that? Where's that there? Okay, so people say, okay, what about the sweet spot? Yes, rackets do have a sweet spot. Is it important? Yes, it is. Generally, you want to hit it in the center of the racket. That's it. So, if you have a looser string, the sweet spot will get bigger. But because if you try and hit a shuttlecock with looser strings with a bigger sweet spot, you use a 5-to-1 ratio to hit, because that's the way you've been taught, what's going to happen is you're not even going to reach the back of the line. You might reach half court if you're lucky. You'll have no backhand. It'll feel softer in your hand, and that's what'll happen. So you don't want to, in badminton, have a loose string. You want to try and play correctly the first time round. And this is why a lot of you, I mean, even when I'm teaching Sienna something, no, you can't go, you got to stick around, you promise. So the thing is that if we teach kids, or if we teach somebody, right, the right way the first time round, then she's going to get it right the right way the first time round. But what happens, Sienna? What happens if I gave you the wrong equation? What happens if I taught you wrong the first time you came to me?
Then I would get it wrong the second time.
You're going to get it wrong the second time?
And the first time.
And the third time?
No,
And the third time? And every time?
Yeah.
Now what happens is if you listen to me and you trust me, right, but I'm wrong, what happens? You're still wrong.
Yeah.
Still wrong. So, but what happens is if I give you the information right the first time round, if you want to get things right the first time, let's go back to looser strings. Okay? So, what have I got here? Okay. Don't get two things confused. One is called, there's our beds of string. Okay, this one here is 20, and this one here is 40. All right, or 40 pounds. Let's just, I know you would, most of you don't string to 40, but just bear with me for this. All right, when you pull the string on a stringing machine and you embed the string, you've already given it a certain amount of surface tension. Don't get surface tension confused with, what word can I use for you guys? Indent tension. Okay? So 20 is, let's call that the surface tension going across the string. But what happens when you pull it down, right, and you end up with this? Okay? Now it's under more tension because you've grabbed it and you've pulled it. Okay, and you're pulling it this way. That is called, for you guys, indent tension. So, a looser string will also give you, let's say this is pulled down to a 2, 1, 2, and this is pulled down to a 2. 1, 2. But this is looser and this is tighter. So it takes more energy to pull this one down, less energy to get that to a 2. So with your strings, got to try and explain this in a way that comes across the right way around. Okay, you really need to understand that both strings in badminton will work, loose and tight, but tight will win out. Why? Because loose strings, right, or let's not call them loose strings because everything's tight, so let's try and use words that make sense for you. Loose strings are tight, alright? Let's just call them tight strings. This one is tighter strings. Okay? This one, when the shuttle repels from this string, it's going to get off fast. Okay? This one, because it's under tension, is going to get off quick. So, if I was to replace those words, instead of using fast, I will use the word quick over here, but then this word becomes quicker. This one here, it's going to get off clean. Right, the shuttle is going to repel relatively cleanly. But this one here is going to get off cleaner. This one, because because the indent is being pushed in, has a little bit of energy loss. Alright, instead of the shuttle going that way, the shuttle's now going this way before it goes that way. This one has less energy loss. So, to say which one is better, that's a matter of opinion. But, so this one here is tight, quick, clean, with a little bit of energy loss. This one is tighter, quicker, cleaner, with less energy loss. Okay. So, that you've really got to understand. Okay, where's my rack? Okay. So, let me see if I can get this down for you. One of the things is, if you've got two rackets or two strings, so let's say, let's face the string beds this way, so now here's your racket, there's your shaft, coming down here. Oh, here you go, there's your head, there's the shaft, there's that one. I'll create that for you. Okay, this one here is L for loose, right? Well, let's say T for tight, TTR for tighter, right? Because to say loose and tight is a little bit, you've got to try and use the right words. I mean, badminton rackets are generally all tight, but badminton is really about good players or great players want the game to be quicker and tighter because they're going to get more control out of it because they don't have to deal with the amount of surface indent, right? So what happens is, let's say the strings have a certain sense of workability to them. What does that mean, right, in plain English? Let's say a budgie flies in to the string and it hits this string. It's going to go dunk and it's going to just fall on the ground. Let's say a budgie, the same budgie flies into this one, dunk, and it hits the ground. That's why when you drop two shuttlecocks onto two strings, they don't really do anything because the strings aren't being worked. Okay, let's now change those budgies to rhinoceroses, right, or something heavy. A big rhino runs at the string, he's going to come in and he's going to bounce out. So let's make this a big trampoline, and the rhinoceros runs into the trampoline and he fires himself out. He's going to bounce off. But you're saying, but the budgie did the same thing, right? But he didn't do anything. Okay, so let's say you've got a big weight of a rhino coming in and he's going to run at it slowly. He's still going to make the strings work because he's able to indent the string. The only way that a budgie can indent the string is if the budgie flies at like 100 miles an hour, right? In which case he's going to get repelled off because he's given it a little bit of surface indentation. Okay, same thing here. So to get this, or let's call it the looser string, to work at the same rate or give the repulsion of the same rate, the budgie has to fly a lot faster to get that repulsion working in that direction, coming back in that direction. So he's got to indent it more. Okay? So, if you are going to hit a shuttlecock, what's going to happen is if you've got two beds of strings and you hit this one at 100 miles an hour and this one's at 100 miles an hour and both are capable and they hit the shuttlecock, whether it's on the cork or on the side, right? Because this one is under more surface tension, this is 40, this is 20, this one here is going to get away earlier, quicker, cleaner, with less energy loss. This is what you want as a pro. If you want this one here to try and get the same distance, it won't act the same way. But if you wanted to indent the string exactly the same, because they're exactly the same, all things being equal, this one's going to win. For this one here to send the shuttle further, you're going to have to indent that further, which means you're going to have to hit it a lot harder. So, what would you rather? Would you rather cleaner, tighter, quicker, faster, more control, and using less racket head speed to do so, but you still have to use racket head speed to create an indent? If you hit it and it doesn't create an indent, you're not going to get the repulsion that you would get if you had indented it a little bit. So if that makes any sense to you. So again, tighter wins. So why do people string loose? Because most of them don't know to string tight. Or they think that tighter ones will crack the frame. Okay, so let's talk about that. So let's say, okay, that's fine. We now know by essential physics that if you indent the strings the same, the tighter one is going to repel quicker, faster, and earlier. Well, let's not say the word faster. Quicker, earlier, and cleaner. Okay, so if that's the case, why do most guys string around about between 20 and 30, and then you get the guys stringing between 30 and 38? So, if tighter is better, then why don't we just string to 45? Why don't we just go berserk and string up there? So what you're saying makes sense, that's fine. The problem is that there's a few problems. If you string that super tight, and it's so tight that you can't create an even tiny little bit of indent, or can't get any indent tension, it's just going to act like a rock. It doesn't matter how hard. It's like a rhinoceros or a budgie both trying to fly into a brick wall. Bounce, rhinoceros, bounce. They're not going to get repelled because it's just too straight. So, is there a balance? Is there like a really good balance? Yes, there is. If you string it that tight, then you put stress on the manufacturer's frame of the racket. You risk a $200 racket. You risk breaking the strings, because no one's they're gonna say you're nuts, because and we have tried it. We've tried to string up to 46, but every time we've done it with either Chalpai 75 or BG80 or BG65, we've snapped the string, and I've done some videos on it. And we tried it about 20 or 30 times, me and Richie, and we still snapped the string. Not one string could take it. So I'm sure there are other strings in the world that I've never seen, but we couldn't find them. So the problem is that you end up stressing the racket frame. And if you're in a tournament and you break a string in the middle of a rally, if you gave that to Lin Dan or Lee Chong Wei, they'd say, hell no. Because if he breaks a string in the middle of a rally and he's playing his opponent sees or hears the broken string, gotcha. So that is a risk. That is too risky. And it doesn't create enough tiny little surface tension and indent tension to get the early, quick, clean, no energy loss repulsion you're looking for. So what they do is they all sort of say, okay, let's try and run somewhere in here. Or even, I've even had some pros 26 to 30, somewhere in there, 26, 29. Now when that is, you've even got, sorry about that, a lot of rackets are strung, beginners rackets are strung down to 20. When you buy a racket, it'll have 18, I've seen it as low as 16, because the racket manufacturer doesn't want to break the frame in freight transit when it gets to the shop. So generally no pros will play this low. They will all play, this is like, you know, you bought a racket, you're going to have a hit if you're a first beginner. Okay, no worries, you don't know what you're doing. Fine, go play with that, enjoy. Then you start getting into club level, okay, you start whacking around for a few years, fine. And then you start getting up to 26, this starts making you a little bit nervous. 27, people think you're nuts. 28, people think you've lost your mind. 29, you're on cocaine, you've lost it, right? And then you go 30, well, then people just look at you and think, you're off the planet. But that's because they don't understand the physics involved with playing quick or playing quicker. So you want the shuttlecock to come off the strings really, really clean, really, really quick, and really super early. That's going to happen with tighter strings, but not too tight that you can't use enough force to indent the string to give you any sense of repulsion. Okay? So, yes, there is a balance. You can't really go any higher than 40. If you do, now what you're having to do to indent that string, let's say we do string it at 45. Let's just say, for shits and giggles, we actually do it. Right? And for some unknown reason, I've gone out and I bought the brand new whatnot, and I string it to 45. And you're thinking, okay, now it's as hard as a rock. Okay, Jazz, if I swing, I've now got to provide a swing so hard to indent that a little bit to give it the indent tension, IT, to get that shuttle to fly in that direction. Damn right you do. Now you're having to really swing it hard, or swing is the wrong term to use in badminton because you don't really want to be swinging a racket. You use what's called ratioed hitting. So the problem now comes down to loose string versus tight string. If you're a beginner and you mishit and you want, you don't want your strings to break all the time, and you don't want your racket to be too under stress, and you're going to bang it on the ground a lot, or you think you're a beginner, loose strings are generally what you want to go to. But if you say, I love badminton, I want to get involved in the, you want to jump the grades, you want to get up there, you want to hit it harder, you're watching the guys, they're flying around, it looks impressive. What they're doing is they're using physics. And they are using physics, and they are running around with higher tension because they know they can indent that hard because they're hitting it a lot harder or controlling it better. So in badminton, the term is control. I can hit it all the time, but it'll just go out the back. Every single time out the back. So you don't want to try and hit it hard all the time. If it's for a smash, go for goal. Knock the guy's head off. But when it comes down to control, you need to try and control that shuttle, which is also in between each rally getting more flustered and more flustered and more flustered. If you don't know how to control the shuttle, or you're not a good shuttler, you're toast. But this particular video was about string tension. For pros who know what they're doing and understand it, high tension. For a high tension, what sort of string do you want to go to? Do you want to go to a thick string? Thick string versus thin string. BG65. Here I'm going on about brands again. BG65 versus BG80. Generally, Is there a different feel between strings? Yes, there is. Right? If you can try and get a thinner string to a tighter tension, it's going to want to repel a little bit quicker. You're going to get a better sound out of it too, so you're probably going to scare your opponent. But the problem with thin strings is that when you do pull it to enormous tensions over 30, so let's say 30 plus, right? Because I won't say 38 because most of you don't play with 38. But if you do, then you put strain on the grommets. As you're pulling it round, what will happen is that it'll just pull through the grommet, it'll cut the grommet, and it'll touch the frame of the racket, and it'll cut the string just like a razor blade. So all of a sudden, damn it, you've lost it. Or let's say you pick it up great and you go and play with it one hit, and it starts to if it binds through a grommet, you're toast. So if you don't have a lot of money and you're trying to do your best, playing with thin string and trying to tighten it like this is a bit risky. Even for me, I will play with BG65, it's thick, therefore I know it's not going to cut through the grommets as much, and I will take it to about 36. 36 for me is a really super nice tension. I know other players will play between 30 and 38. I don't know anyone who plays over 38. I've tried it, but I don't really feel much difference between 38 and 36. So I say, okay, to my string tension guy, back it off. So that instead of putting this, the racket under enormous stress with 38, it's got less stress, but it still gives me what I want. So from that perspective, that's a personal thing. But as far as string tensions are concerned, it comes down to not only string tension but indent tension, right? All things being equal, and that's why a lot of you can't figure it out. So that's pretty simple. Where a lot of you now go wrong, and I've seen this a lot because they'll come up to club, and they'll say, okay, we want to string what you do, we want to hit like you do, and what all the other guys in the A grade on the courts, because they're saying like all you guys are doing really, really well. And we all say, they say, what do you string your rackets to? And we say, well, I'm not going to lie, 36. And they go, wow, cool, bonza, I want to do the same thing. We go, hang on a minute, Charlie, just hang on. If you string it at a higher tension than a lower tension, you now have to increase your racket head speed to indent that string. Well, how do you increase the racket head speed? If you don't increase the racket head speed, the higher tension that you go, you're going to need to increase your racket head speed so that you can get surface indent tension out of it. If you don't, not going to go anywhere. So, because what's going to happen is even if you string at 36 and you still hit like you're hitting with 20, you're not providing enough forward motion to indent the string. So it's going to feel like a brick wall. So you need to force enough racket head speed to get surface, so that when that shuttlecock comes, you're providing enough racket head speed to indent that string to get that surface indent tension going, so it fires it back out earlier, cleaner, quicker, with no energy loss. So how the hell do you do that? And you say, oh, I know what I'll do. Okay, well, I'm really keen because I see these guys doing it. I've seen Jazz out there. I've seen some great players. I watch it on YouTube. I've seen Anthony Ginting. I've seen Lin Dan. I've seen Lin Chongwei. Cool. All these guys are great. But they know something that you don't. They know about racket head speed. And coaches of yesteryear, who had all the great intentions in the world, would tell you to... This used to be a big thing with coaches. Big thing. They used to use words that used to confuse you a little bit, so that it sort of says they can only do what they do. No. Supinating. Supinating. Okay, don't even know how you spell it. Pronating, supinating, and rotating. if you try and increase your racket head speed with higher tension, you better know how to do it. Because if you don't know how to do it, you're not going to be able to indent that string to get surface indentation to get power out of the string. So what's going to happen is coaches will start doing this. Well, they'll say, the way you do it is you pick up a shuttlecock and you throw it like a rock. No. You need to understand basic physics. If you don't understand physics, you're screwed. The problem with a lot of people and people at who are trying to help out is that they really want to help you, but if they don't teach you the right way, they're going to screw you up. And you say, oh, I trust that guy. Okay, if you trust that guy, go do it. But I've seen club members play their whole lives and are still stuck in the C grade, and they never get out and they wonder why. I bet what you've done is you've played some guy who's just absolutely killed you. Like he's just bitten down on the shuttlecock and he'll smash to the point where it's bouncing off the floor or it's a blur. And yet you'll hit it as hard as possible and you'll think, I don't get it. I'm bigger, I'm just the same size as that guy, and I've put everything into it. I've got the racket, I've got the strings, I've done what the guy in the pro shop said, I've done what that guy said, I checked the blogs, I did, and for some unknown reason, you still can't do it? I bet you. So, what's happening is, it's because you are hitting, not using physics. Well, you are using physics, you're just using wrong physics, or you're not understanding what you're trying to do. What you need to do, what you've always been told, is what we in physics call 5 to 1. 1 to 1 is blocking. Okay? I don't know how you do this, but 5 to 1 is what's called swing speed. Well, when we increase our when we increase our string tension, we use 6 to 1 to 10 to 1. The slowest 6 to 1 will beat the fastest 5 to 1 any day of the week. If you are constantly playing with these ratios all of the time, and we use all of these ratios, so we use 1 to 1, 5 to 1, 6 and 10 to 1, we know that when we smash, we're going to be up around 8 to 10 to 1. When we drive you, or kind of snap you really quickly, we're using 6 or 7 to 1. When we want to take a shuttle early at the net, we don't just stay there and just play the shot. What we do is we wait, put our head up to the shuttlecock a little bit and give it a little bit of 6 to 1. But what you guys are doing is you guys are constantly using swing speed at 5 to 1. And you're trying to increase the swing speed. And you wonder, so it doesn't matter how much you increase the swing speed, you're still hitting at what's called 5 to 1. So this is why you get what's called frustration. You're like, I don't get it. I swear I hit that hard. I swear I did. I swear I hit it from 250 to 260. I know I did. And yet the guy on the other side, who's an A grader, he just bites down and grabs you. Bang! Takes your head off. And you just don't get it. And then you sit down and you wonder what the hell's going on. Yeah. So what's happening is that you can only pronating and supinating, rotating. Pronating and supinating is turning of your forearm in a certain way. And rotating is rotating your body. Fine. Okay. I'll extend an olive branch to you. You can do all of this, pronating, supinating, rotating, to achieve higher ratios. If you do none of this, because a lot of times I'll play and I won't use pronating or supinating or rotating. I'll take your head off. I'll just take it clean off. Because I'm playing with ratios. But if you use this on top of ratios, okay, now you're in the Super Series. Now you deserve to be looked at. But if you guys just completely ignore this and just go with this, called experimentation. And you don't know what you're going to get, which is what's been happening. When you go to badminton, you're experimenting. You hold your racket differently. You think, oh, one night I hit that smash. It was really good. And then you've never been able to do it again. And you think, oh, I know what it is. It's time for a new racket. Or I know what it is. Oh, my arm's sore. Or, I know what it is. It's my string tension's down a little bit. Oh, I know what it is. No, it's none of that. It's because you're not understanding what ratios are. If you don't want to play with ratios, okay, you don't have to. But this is a channel and a videos, or these videos are for people that want to increase their badminton big time. So you have to know that. Alright, so how do you know that? What are ratios? What are these magical damn things that we go on about? What the heck is 1-to-1? What the heck is 5-to-1? And what the hell is 6 to 10-to-1? What does this mean? What are these numbers? Right? Some people will call these numbers in what's called the triangle of death. I think I heard one guy call it the triangle of death, and he's right. But you have no idea what these numbers are. Because you don't know. If Lin Dan knows these numbers, which he does, and you don't, he's going to kill you. And this is why when you see him play, he's like a dog playing with a cat. He'll just run you around, run you around, run you around. He'll jerk you around for about 20 points, and he'll make you he'll wear you out. And then when he gets bored, he'll just smash you. And he will smash you with 8-to-1. Doesn't even need to get to 10-to-1. He uses 8-to-1 at 34 pounds with BG65. Right? And he's had it brand newly strung on the court. So now his racket strings have bite. Also, they always play with brand new shuttles. So there's no fluff on them. As soon as they fluff, that's it. Get rid of them. Because the aerodynamic is now rough over the feathers and it doesn't fly as easy. So that's why when you see some of these guys hitting, they're hitting with ratios. They'll hit it, it looks like they're hitting it really, really easily. It's because the shuttle will fly easily when it's brand new. If it's been fluffed up a little bit, now you're having to thump it. If it's got to the point where it's lost its feathers or it's getting really, really, really bad, you'll notice that the drag will take place of it. Okay, so string tension, if you want a string tighter, you have to increase your racket head speed from 5-to-1 into these ratios. So where the hell do you learn ratios? Who has it? Well, there's a few guys around. So if you can get a hold of Tommy Regola knows. Who else knows other than me? Pete Ernstead. If you can get a hold of Pete Ernstead, I don't know where he is in the world. Tallfix ex-coach, Mulyo Handoyo. He may not explain it like this, but he understands it in his head. That's why the Indians have just hired him to help them out win the world champs, and it's a pretty good coach. But this 1-to-1, 5-to-1, you've always hit like this. You're not even in this league. A graders in that are in this league, and some of them play like this, but don't even know how to explain it to you, and that becomes a problem. How does that help you? So 1-to-1 is blocking, 5-to-1 is swing speed. This is what's called TRA. Okay, TRA ratios. This is also ratios, but you need to be up here, or you play with what's called the whole gambit. If we know the whole gambit and you don't, and we hit you up, you know, sort of as you're hitting each other up, you're sizing each other up a little bit to see what you know. Most of these guys are all playing with the whole gambit, but you're not. And because you're not, or you have troubles with it, you're doing this, and that is called struggle. Struggle. Your whole badminton career has been a struggle, because someone should have told you this the first day you picked up a badminton racket. TRA ratios. What's the best tool you've got in the world? Knowledge. Okay, so a few guys in the world know about ratios and know how to explain it. Tommy's a really good one for it. I'm a good one for it. If you don't know, really simple. Anyone in the world can go and do it. You're even lucky that we even put it on the web. Go to MrBackhand.com, you'll see my black shirt, you'll see this. I put it in a video for you. It costs us about $20,000 to find out this information. You go and get it for 150 bucks and you're done. Aren't you lucky? So, there you go. MrBackhand.com. Understanding TRA ratios to increase racket head speed. Because you want to, or if you want to, increase your string tension. So with that, needs increased racket head speed, which means that you need to know TRA ratios. You don't have a choice. If you continue to hit with 5 to 1, you're screwed. You're absolutely toast. If you're a student and you've been struggling or breathing hard or having to stand back a little bit to cover your bad power output, so let's say you've got no backhand, you'll stand a little bit further back, but now your front's exposed, and you'll end up lifting a lot. When you lift, so when you lift, they smash a lot, and that's going to be the game. So let's get you guys working much better in a sport that everyone loves. Everyone's got a chance to play it. So it's really, really simple. It's really simple, guys. If you want your badminton to change for the rest of your life, MrBackhand.com. Go there. I think the video is $149 US. It'll teach you about TRA ratios. It will increase your power by about 60 to 5 to 1 ratios, about 100%. That's a lot. But you need to know, again, what EP means. You've got to understand, and that's all on the video as well. So, if somebody came to me when I first played badminton and gave me this information when I was in the rep team, or when I was, showed a little bit of promise or a little bit of passion, I would have been on the circuit, I reckon. It would have been great, had a great time. But instead, I struggled for many, many years because I trusted the coaches. I did what they said. I did exactly as they said. And when I go back to them years later and say, hey, a minute, you screwed me up. That wasn't fair. Yeah, they just walk out the door and say, we're not interested now. Well, too late now. They're all drinking beer at the bar. I don't know. But that doesn't help you. So I'm here to say that I can help you. It's really, really simple. Go and do this. It's worth it. So that's it. So this is Mr. Backhand saying, guys, if I can do it, you can do it. Thanks for watching.